Well, here's a project that turned out to be way more work than we thought it was going to be. So 2 years ago, we got this building delivered, a prefabbed shed building, and there's a video of when that arrived. It was a pretty cool project. We had to create kind of a level pad for it and everything. That was fun as well. And this has served as our workshop for Christmas time, well, year-round really, but it is the focal point for Christmas time, and it's kind of our checkout areas where we hold our wreath classes. And for the last 2 years, it has been completely unfinished on the inside, and we decided this year we wanted to finish it out, and we were going to tackle that ourselves. Let me show you what we've done so far. It's actually quite cool and comfortable in here now. We have one little window AC unit running, and as you can see in here now, we've got vapor barrier installed. We've got underneath that insulation across the whole thing, and now we're starting to think about how to finish the walls. And up to about window level, we just put up plywood. This is just a sanded plywood, and it'll get trim all around it. And then from here up, we are going to put lumber that we milled on our sawmill and make it kind of a shiplap style finish. And then the ceiling, we're still thinking about what we want to do. I don't know if we'll have enough wood or if we'll feel like doing the shiplap all the way across the ceiling as well, or we might just get some different paneling to put up on the ceiling. This is actually the first weekend we've run the little AC unit in here. I'm surprised by how comfortable it is just with the vapor barrier and insulation in place. And let's run out now to the planer where I've got it set up. We're going to power it off of the generator out near the kiln because that's where the pile of lumber is. And we can also get the kiln fired up for the morning. Then I'll show you a little bit about the lumber that we've already processed that we've got in here ready to go. Oh, you like that sawdust, hey Max? Yeah, it's gonna make you sneeze. So that is the pile of sawdust that came off of the planer from yesterday's work. We're going to send some more through the planer here today. It's a nice bright sunny day. The kiln is heating up. And if you haven't seen our kiln before, we built this last winter, and I've been using it exclusively for drying firewood up to this point. But we could dry lumber in this as well off the sawmill. You can open this up in here. We've got a wood stove in here that we were running yesterday. It's still, well, a little over 100 degrees. But this kiln, yeah, it's still over 100 degrees in here, easy. And we can fire up the wood stove again. And that in combination with the solar energy coming in through that glass, we'll easily heat this thing up 140, 150 degrees. And then we can use that wood stove to maintain the temperatures through the night. Here's our pile of 6-inch boards, and these are the boards that we're going to be running through the planer. And then I've got 8-inch stuff over there. I've got just a few boards that still need to go on this kiln on the other side, and we're using those 8-inch boards as the siding here. And I've got a bunch of 2-inch strips that we'll install as the battens in between each of these boards, so it'll look a little bit better when it's finished, but just haven't gotten around to that yet. I'm using this generator here to power the planer, and the only reason I'm really doing this is because after our last event, the generator was full of fuel, and I don't want it sitting for a long time with that fuel in there. So we're just running the generator out of fuel, and then I'll move the planer back over near the building where we can just plug it into normal electricity power source. was about 25 minutes and I just got 7 boards through the planer. A couple of these I spent a lot of time on because when they came off the mill, they were way thicker on the ends than they were in the middle. So these 2 boards here on the left probably got, I don't know, 8 or 9 passes through the planer. And then I started to realize I was going to make the boards way thinner than I wanted. So this middle section will probably just hit with a belt sander before we put them on the wall to knock some of that rough spot off. So when I say this is taking way longer, this is one of the reasons why. If you think you got a sawmill and you're gonna churn out a bunch of wood for your personal projects, if you want it to look really nice and you want to get that wood usable, you've still got a lot more work to do after you sawmill it, after it dries. Then you've got to plane it, sand it, edge it, possibly, depending on what you need to do. But let me take you back inside and show you how much we got done. We got enough kind of to get started. Stacked up here along the walls, we have some of our poplar boards that have come off of the sawmill. And we spent several hours yesterday cleaning these boards up. As you can see in here, there are some that still have a little bit of roughness to it, and I think that's okay. There's some that looked a little bit more finished than others, and of course when it comes off the sawmill, the boards aren't perfect. So there are places where the blade dipped a little bit and you might still see some saw marks like that. And then we're also going to go along all the edges of these boards with a router and notch out the edges so the boards can overlap a little bit. But when we started this project, we thought, oh, this will just be, you know, a couple weekends. We'll have the whole thing on the inside done. And then, you know, a weekend or 2 of milling some boards and we'll slap those up. Not thinking about how much work it's going to be to actually get the sawmill lumber into a condition where it's actually ready to work and put up on the wall. So those extra steps of putting them through the planer and routing them, which I haven't even started yet, is some seriously time-consuming stuff. So that's the shop. It is a mess, and as soon as we get the boards on the wall, then we need to build some shelving, and all this stuff that's down the center needs to find its new home in this building once it's set up. So we've got a lot of work to do. We've got our second sunflower event of the year coming up in about 5 weeks, and we're hoping to have this shop ready to go for that event. And if it's not, we'll get over it, but we'll have to set up another 10 out here for our actual commercial activity and not allow anyone in through the building. But that's what's going on with the shop, and now I can share with you a little bit about how this building has kind of changed our business, changed our operation. This was a $20,000 investment without the interior improvements that we did. Just to get the building here cost that much. But in our first 2 years, I can easily say this building has paid for itself, because during Christmas time, people spent more time in the shop, they spent more money in the shop, and we were able to host more wreath classes as well. And the wreath classes have done really, really well for us. And this year, our 3rd year with this shop, and the first time that we've got the house really ready to go. I mean, we had the house last year, but it was brand new to us and we didn't really think about how we could leverage it. But now that we have the house here and the shop here, we're gonna be open the entire week, staying here all week during Christmas season, and we're gonna host even more wreath classes than we ever have before. So really looking forward to having this shop this year insulated, which would be nice in the cold weather. And it's just going to look a whole lot nicer with it completely finished out, and it'll be a much better experience, I feel, for our customers. So thanks for watching today, guys. I appreciate you spending a little time with me today. I'll see you on the next video. Bye-bye.